Welcome back. The title of the next session is Understanding Dissent in Hinterland and Impact on Economic Growth, a case study of Punjab. The chairperson for this session would be Mr. Pradyot Haldar and the speaker, Mr. Ramesh Inder Singh. I request General Patankar to come up and introduce the session as well as the speakers.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are into the last two sessions of PDNS 2023, and I'm very happy to introduce colleague and old friend, Mr. Pradyot Chandra Haldar. He is the president of Policy Perspective Foundation, who are, as I mentioned earlier, partners with the Pune International Center as far as PDNS is concerned. He joined the Indian Police Service in 1970 and was allocated to the Bihar cadre. Mr. Haldar served the Intelligence Bureau for over 3 decades and retired as its director in 2008. Recipient of both the Police Medal for Meritorious Service and the President's Police Medal for Distinguished Service, he has, since 2009, served on several national level committees dealing with issues relating to National Security Task Force set up by the Atomic Energy Commission, 2-member committee to review functioning of the intelligence organizations, and the Task Force on National Security. So he is eminently qualified to speak on matters concerning national security in several fields. He was actively involved with the peace process with the Naga groups in the 90s. So that adds another dimension to his expertise. I now request Shri Haldar to take the chair, please. And while he is doing that, let me also introduce Mr. Ramesh Inder Singh, R.I. Singh. Mr. R.I. Singh is a distinguished civil servant of the Punjab cadre. He was awarded the Padma Shri in 1986 for his notable contribution in the field of public administration. He was district manager, Amritsar, during the turbulent years of militancy in Punjab, and we know what that meant. And that was probably something which led to his ultimate recognition and the award of the Padma Shri. During his long career of 40 years in public life, he has held many crucial appointments, which included Principal Secretary to the Chief Minister, Punjab, Chief Secretary of Punjab, and from that position he took premature retirement from the IAS in 2009 to serve as Chief Information Officer, Commissioner, the transparency watchdog, as we all know and have come to respect. He has authored books titled Turmoil in Punjab, Before and After Blue Star, again a landmark event as far as the history of the country as well as history in Punjab is concerned. Frequently contributes articles and newspapers on issues of public interest. So once again, since we are going to touch upon a case study of Punjab, we have a very useful contribution expected from you, sir.
Good afternoon. We have slightly, not a problem, but a person we are missing, because one of our team members who was to come in today has suffered a lung infection in London. So we are operating in this set with 2 persons. Of course, he is more than enough for Punjab, because Punjab is we have taken as an example to decide how the states have not we got derailed and then came back, and then how it got derailed or at least attempt to derail once again. Then we will take the other part of the thing where we will discuss various aspects that we noticed during the thing and which can be equally valuable to note about other states and how state management would need to require attention, to pay attention to these areas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Haldar. Distinguished participants, it was supposed to be 20 minutes or so to be, but given the exigency of the situation, we'll try to enlarge the presentation a bit so that, in fact, that's an opportunity which will probably give it a greater coverage. Before coming to the presentation, I'd like to clarify the dimensions of the title. Because conceptually, I believe it's the title, as you know, is Understanding Dissent in Hinterlands and its Impact on Economy. Now, dissent usually, to my understanding, is not such a strong word, because dissent basically means disagreement because of difference of opinion. And in that sense, in fact, dissent is the essence of democracy, you see. It's only when dissent crosses the limits of legality and spills over beyond the confines of law that it becomes a problem. So I like to qualify this word dissent with violent dissent, and not just a different voice or a different opinion. Because even Parliament is a institution of, in a way, it represents dissent and opposition. Supreme Court declares so many laws, unconstitutional, strikes them down, administrative decisions are struck down. That also is a format of dissent. Democracy, in fact, is governance by politics. And politics is the art of getting votes. Just as an industrialist wants his investment base increased and the investor wants a dividend in return to enlarge. The same way political parties, their shareholding is the voter. So they want to enlarge their vote bank, And more often than not, the policies, programs, of course, apart from the inherent commitment to the nation, the programs and policies are formulated in a manner that you get a majority response to it. And what is left out of that becomes opposition and is perceived as voice of difference or dissent or disagreement, whatever one may call. Now, this basic conceptual understanding is essential to know, to understand, I would say, the problem of Punjab itself. Because there is a political content to the Punjab problem, there is a religious content to it, there is identity issues and so on and so forth. As we proceed, as I give you the facts, I'll try and draw certain conceptual, or you can say theoretical principles out of that presentation. Now, hinterland also, to me, sounds a little problematic in the context of Punjab, because Punjab is really the gateway, The original Punjab, as we know, extended from Afghanistan to Tibet and right up to Delhi. As a matter of fact, it's not commonly appreciated that even Delhi at time was an administrative unit of Punjab. It was manned by the Punjab Civil Service officers. Even Mr. Jagmohan, the governor of J&K, was a PCS officer, you know. And the High Court was common. Punjab had a bench in Delhi of Punjab High Court till 66, you know. So what I'm trying to say is it's not really hinterland, it's the mainland, but gateway of India. Situationally, now this geopolitical situation of Punjab has created many problems for the state. And not from today, for centuries, you know, because I'm not talking of Alexander the Great, but even if you go back to 6th and 7th century, the Muslim invasions started. Initially they came from Sindh, by the sea in, I think, 7th century. Then 8th century onwards, we have continuous invasions through Afghanistan and this route. Now, this, while dealing with law and order issues, it is very important and imperative to understand the psychology, the sociology of the people you are dealing with, which is very often, not given the importance because the officers on ground are faced with an immediate situation, you know. So when you are faced with an immediate situation, you try to implement and enforce the law, but the sociological or psychological ramifications of that are very often not taken into account, and it has its own implications. Now, what these continuous invasions of Punjab did, it bred a certain attitude, a certain values, a certain ethos to its people. I'll say, let's pick out on 3 aspects of basic attitude of this region. I'm not now just talking of the present Punjab. I would include larger areas of Punjab, Himachal, Kangra, or even parts of Haryana. One is that they live life as it comes. And when I say that, there is a saying in Punjabi, I'll translate, Khade pite laheda, baki Ahmed Shahda, which means whatever you have, eat, enjoy, make merry. What you will not consume, the Ahmed Shah will take away. Now this determines their attitude and living. When you find that they are, boisterous, they are consumers. One of the participants was mentioning to me that there is so many Mercedes in Ludhiana. I said they're all under debt, believe you me. But they must own it because they have to show off. So this is one trait which continuous invasions have imbued in this region. The second is, you see, particularly in the struggle against the Mughal Empire, I would say more so when Guru Gobind Singh raised his army, Khalsa Panth, and gave the pacifist philosophy of Guru Nanak, he slightly modified that picking up of the sword is justified if there is injustice. And in the various, he lost his father, he lost his 4 sons, it's all well known, so I will not go into that. It has imbued a spirit of shahadat, martyrdom you call it. They are not afraid of dying. Now, in fact, Lord Dalhousie, when he annexed Punjab after death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, his son, minor son Dalip Singh, in 2 Anglo-Saxon Sikh wars was defeated, converted to Christianity and taken to England. So Lord Dalhousie has gone on record that there will never be peace in Punjab so long as they have the means to fight. So that describes the characteristic of the region. But here I like to remind the participants that the same army of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, which was called Khalsa Army, which was vanquished by the British twice in the wars. Of course, the troops were Indian only. It's only the officers who commanded the troops. The same army became loyal army of the British. Now, here there is one needs to understand the nuance of psychology. If you challenge a Punjabi, he will fight. But if you tactfully handle him, he'll cooperate and go with you. These are two contradictory spirits inbuilt in the character. They are anti-authority. But if authority is powerful, or if authority is, embracing them, they could be good friends. In fact, Second World War, almost 60% of the British Indian Army came from Punjab, you see, which of course included Pakistan, Muslims, and Dogras and Sikh troops. So there is a lesson here. How do you address, these areas? And for that reason, it's also important to understand the sociology of the regions you are handling, whether it is Manipur, it is Bengal. Initially I served in Bengal for a few years. I know how volatile the Bengalis can be. Sir, you will be more able to, 5, 6 of them, it's a crowd. So unless you know how to handle them, it becomes difficult to, it's not just Danda you can handle them. Now, in the context of Punjab, I will not go into past details except tracing the turmoil which happened almost 40 years back. It was in April 1978, Baisakhi Day. Baisakhi is the day when Guru Gobind Singh converted his followers into the present identity, turban and hair, or created Khalsa, we may say so. And it is celebrated in great fervor in Amritsar. People get together in Golden Temple, and so on and so forth. Within Sikhism, and here let me also clarify that we may talk of, okay, this is a Sikh community or a Hindu community or a Christian community, but there are sub-communities in each. There is a national identity, we are all Indians, Bharati, but within that there are sub-community identities, and within those sub-identities there are further sub-identities. You see, it's like jalebi, it's all mixed up. So most of the communities are not homogeneous as it may appear. Take, for example, the Hindu Dharma. In Tamil Nadu, you have a dissent there, Sanatan Dharam and so on and so forth. In Bengal, there is a conflict, Durga Ram, Same way in Sikhism, there was a sect, a group which parted company from the mainstream. They are called Nirankaris. Now, the basic difference between Nirankaris and Sikhs is that Nirankaris believe their present guru, living guru, is equal to Guru Granth Sahib, and they put them on the same pedestal. Otherwise, they follow the principles of Guru Granth Sahib, or at least they used to till all these happenings. They said, all right, leave us alone. So there was, on this 13th April 1978, the annual Narankari Sammelan was allowed to be held in Amritsar. Now, the same day, the Baisakhi Day, there was a congregation in the Golden Temple. This was the first administrative error, I would say, which took place. The administration failed to appreciate the sensitivity of the possible conflict between the two. And Nirankaris were even allowed to carry some weapons. They took out a procession and then met at a congregation in a ground. It is after the procession was over that Pindrawala, who was in Golden Temple, and his other followers, they heard about this procession and they decided that we will not allow this congregation to take place. So about 100 or so of them walked with traditional kripan and lathis, sword. The police, by the time the procession had been completed, they took it, now the problem is over, because as the procession was passing through the town, it was, the normal assessment is that it could lead to trouble somewhere on the roads. So most of the deployment, by that time had been withdrawn, or they had become relaxed. At the venue of the Samagam, there was a very thin force, and as these Bhindranwala-led crowd went to close to the venue of the congregation, there was a kind of a tussle between the two. The Nirankaris fired, and 18 people, mostly of there were 2 or 3 Nirankaris also who died, but mostly they were followers of Bhindranwala, who had himself not gone, with the procession. So they died. The Nirankari chief who was there, he was escorted out of the state. Case was registered. There was a great demand for a public inquiry. For some reason, it was not ordered. So here I am emphasizing that many a times, we say you have ordered so many inquiries. These public inquiries do act as safety valves, because inquiry commission sits, evidence starts coming in. With period of time, things get pacified and so on and so forth. Of course, there is an adverse side to it, that the administration, the police, they come under tremendous pressure, because the officers involved in that, they have to undergo tense times. The case against Nirankaris was transferred out of Punjab. At that time in Punjab, we had SAD, Shromani Akali Dal, and Jan Sangh as coalition partners. Mr. Badal was the chief minister, and Jan Sangh was a coalition partner. Though Akali Dal had a clear majority. Ultimately, the Baba Gurbachan Singh of the Nirankaris and his followers, they were acquitted by the district court. A file was moved to challenge the decision. At that time, there was a re-election at the national level. Mrs. Gandhi, who had been ousted following the emergency, came, 77 she had come back to power. And Jai Suklal Hathi, who was the governor, the Badal government, even though in majority, was dismissed, as it happened in other states also. You see, now we were discussing constitutional federalism, there was a reference. These are classic examples how you create conflicts in polity. A government, and this has been done by all political parties. It's not just the Congress who did it, you see. The others have also done when they come to power. Morarji Desai's time also, the Congress governments were dismissed even when they were in majority. So, the Badal government, BJP SAD, was dismissed. Jai Suklal Hathi, who was the governor, was to take a decision which had been already taken on the file to file an appeal in the High Court, but he did not file the appeal. These are small slip-ups, I would say, which add to building up the anger or angst, whatever you may call. Now, since it was perceived that state has failed to give justice to them, I'm intentionally using the word perceived by them, one could have a different view. So, Bhindranwala and his followers took to gun. The first person to be killed was Baba Gurbachan Singh, the head of the Nirankari mission. He was shot dead in his mission compound by a by Ranjit Singh, who posed himself as the carpenter, got an access to their area, and then smuggled in a weapon, and getting an opportunity, he shot him dead. Now, soon after his death, in September 1981, Lala Jagat Narayan, he was a very eminent journalist and leader, proprietor of Hind Samachar group of newspapers, who the Bhindranwala viewed as against their demands. And he had given evidence in the case against the Nirankaris. So to avenge the killing of these 18 odd people by the Nirankaris, his car was overtaken by two motorcycle riders, and they pumped in bullets into him, and he died in his car on way from Ludhiana to Jalandhar. Now, this is when, till now the conflict was Nirankaris versus Bhindranwala and his group. But with the killing of Lala Jagat Narayan, it spilled over beyond this, because there were protests in cities against it. A case was registered on the death of both Gurbachan Singh and Lala Jagat Narayan. In Bhindranwala, the police secured a remand for his arrest. His arrest itself is a great political story, because he was in Haryana at Chandokala. It is reportedly said that Gyani Jail Singh, who didn't pull well with Darbara Singh, the chief minister, he through Bhajan Lal sounded कि why create problem in your state. They sounded him that Punjab police is coming to arrest you, and he overnight travelled 250 kilometers from Chandokala in Hisar district to Punjab. But that's a separate story. Now, obviously his arrest had not been fully thought into by the investigating officers. It was more to pacify the public opinion, which following all these killings was building up. So 15 days later or 20 days later, the police had to make a statement in the court that we don't have any evidence against him, and he was let off. Now, it was his arrest when the first innocent killing took place in Punjab. On the day of his arrest, which was in 13th September, 15th of October, the day he was arrested, the same day in two towns, Tarn and Jalandhar, stain gun wielding boys riding on motorcycle, fired in the streets of the two towns, killing innocent people, random. That is from where exactly the violence started. Prior to that, Babbar Khalsa, you would often be reading the name of this organization. There is a Babbar Khalsa International also now. His chief held a press conference that we have killed 30 Nirankaris. So what I'm trying to, by quoting this, is that the conflict was a religious conflict confined between Nirankaris and followers of Bhindranwala, All India Sikh Student Federation, and one Kirtani Jatha. These were three, organizations. None of them is or was political when the conflict started. And the killers, strangely, the shooters, you'll be surprised to know, they were, because Bhindranwala's boys did not have the training to shoot. So they outsourced the services of few like-minded policemen and like-minded ex-Naxalites. The modus operandi was that they were given weapon, go shoot and deposit it back. Had the situation been effectively handled and tackled at that time, nothing would have happened. But now that there were killing of innocents, the public reaction was Now, parallel to this conflict, which was religious, there is a political conflict going on. Non-violent, but political. Political content was that Punjab, as you know, is the land of 5 rivers. Panch Aab. Aab means water, 5 rivers. 2 have gone to Pakistan, Indus and Chenab, and 3 are, or Yamuna, 4th one is still there. It passes now in Haryana. So distribution of these river waters has been a bone of contention right from the beginning. What happened that during emergency, Mrs. Gandhi, Punjab was reorganized in 1966, partition of Punjab and Haryana, called the chief ministers of Punjab and Haryana and gave a political award of the river waters, which are now in India. Under this, Punjab and Haryana were to get 3.5 MAF, Rajasthan was to get 8 MAF, and Delhi was to get 0.2 MAF. Rajasthan has been getting water from Punjab right from the British days. There was an agreement between Maharaja of Ganganagar and the then British government. A canal was built and water was going because Punjab was surplus at that time. Now, before the award could be executed, Mrs. Gandhi lost elections. Monarji Desai refused to implement the award that it is not fair. But then it remained unimplemented, so both Punjab government challenging the award, Haryana also challenging the award, went to Supreme Court. Before the case could be heard by the Supreme Court, Mrs. Gandhi won the election and came back to power. At this stage, she dissolved the state governments. In Punjab, I told you, BJP and Akali Dal were in power. Re-elections were held, and Darbara Singh of Congress became Chief Minister in Punjab. Bhajan Lal became Chief Minister in Haryana. So she called both the Chief Ministers and told them, withdraw your case from Supreme Court. Darbara Singh tried to protest. He was told that either you sign this or you'll be removed. So the case was withdrawn. Against the withdrawal of the case, the Akali Dal started a agitation because now SYL, I wonder if you've heard this name, Satluj Yamuna Link Canal. This canal was to be built to carry the Satluj water, linking it up in Haryana with Yamuna water. So Akali Dal started an agitation. Other political parties of Punjab lent support to it, including the leftists. Mrs. Gandhi came to Kapuri was the name of the place, is the name of the place in Patiala district on the border of Haryana to lay the foundation stone of the SYL. Now, since this agitation was going on there, anyway, the function was held, but some people then killed some of the workers and the chief engineer of SYL canal. In the meantime, in the murder of Nirankaris, 2 of the followers of Pindrawala had been arrested. So Pindrawala shifted his headquarters, which is good 70-80 kilometers away from Amritsar, to Golden Temple and started a morcha, what they call agitation, for the release of those people. And here, the Akalis started a morcha for water issues. After some time, Pindrawala's men were acquitted, they were discharged, but both Akali Dal and Pindrawala joined hand for common cause of, as they thought, is the Punjab cause. You see. Now, I'd like to briefly mention to you what were their demands. It was launched in 82 August. to give Punjabi-speaking areas to Punjab, to get due share of Punjab's river waters, autonomy and powers to the states of Union of India in accordance with real federal setup, Punjabi as a second language in Delhi, Haryana and Himachal, stoppage of ejectment of Punjabi settlers in Tarai, release of innocent persons arrested so far and stoppage of police from repression, enactment of an All India Gurdwara Act, setting up of a broadcasting facility of Kirtan from the Golden Temple, grant of Holy City status to Amritsar, non-interference in the religious affairs by the state. Now, for over these 10 demands, they came together and launched an agitation. The agitation was that they were give peaceful arrest every day in Amritsar. So Jathas or the group of people will come from all over Punjab, and every day people will court arrest. Now, this agitation went on for almost 2 years. During this period, 26 meetings were held between the Akali leadership and the central government. In 4 of those, Prime Minister herself presided over. Rajiv Gandhi attended some. In some opposition parties, leaders were also invited. In the meantime, the killings started in Punjab. Innocent people at 2 or 3 places. Hindus were pulled out of the buses, and selective killing took place. In many places, random killings took place. This was going on. But ultimately, no agreement was reached. I've written this book which was mentioned, Turmoil in Punjab. Those who are interested can read it. I have a copy. I can leave it to whosoever wants it. Now, on in the month of May, in the meantime, you see, there was naturally, because innocent people were dying daily, there was a lot of resentment within Punjab, outside Punjab. Political parties accusing the central government of non-action, And then 1985 elections were also not very far. The central government could ill afford to see, more so because Punjab had been brought under governor's rule. Mr. B.D. Pandey, former cabinet secretary, was transferred from Bengal to Punjab as governor. The political subcommittee of cabinet in month of May resolved to send army to the Golden Temple. The decision was a very closely guarded secret. The last negotiation between Akalis and the central government took place on 26th May. But on a day earlier, on 25th May, General Vaidya had already been called by Mrs. Gandhi in a personal one-to-one meeting and told to start sending the troops. The union ministers, 4 of them who were conducting negotiations with the Akalis, they came in the forenoon. Agreement was reached. They said we have to now sound the Prime Minister and come back. They came back in the afternoon and told, sorry, we don't agree to this. In fact, a number of people, I've quoted them in my book, have said that more than once agreement was reached. Once even Captain Amarinder Singh, who later on became Chief Minister of Punjab, he has also mentioned that agreement was reached. A helicopter was ready to fly him and Rajiv Gandhi. Last minute, they were told no. What these instances imply that negotiational route was probably not, opted for. If there was killing from this side, the approach was arms from this side too. There is a lesson here. Probably if on 26th May, if that agreement had been reached, Blue Star would have never taken place. And as I have read out to you, there was nothing in these demands, which could not be negotiated. And these are all, in fact, most of the opposition leaders were also supporting these demands, including Jan Sangh and RSS, except on one issue of federalism. They had difference of opinion on that, but all other demands, everybody was supporting. Now, here comes a story which will surprise you, and I'm sure Mr. Haldar, if he doesn't know, may surprise him also. Around 1st or June, or 29th or 30th June, B.D. Pandey, in his autobiography, published 30 years after his death. He had sealed it and left it to his children that please publish it 30 years after my death. He has stated that he was called to Delhi. He had a meeting with Mr. Alexander, the then Principal Secretary to Prime Minister, and the Cabinet Secretary, and they told him decision has been taken to call the army. So he records that he was not in favor of it, pleaded with them, but they said, no, this has been decided. And after the meeting, they told him that Director IB is going to join us now. Do not tell him what we have told you. This is the autobiography of B.D. Pandey, former Cabinet Secretary and former Governor. He says he was told, please do not share this with Director Intelligence Bureau. That means the secrecy was, it was considered so important that even Intelligence Bureau was not supposed to be. The consequence of this was, when army was told, the feedback which IB would have given to the army, about the kind of fortifications they had, the kind of weaponry they held inside the Golden Temple, that knowledge probably was missing. 29th of May, the advance party of 9th Division, we have General Saab here who commanded the 9th Division late in 98, reached Amritsar, 15th Division. They established a bridgehead. They didn't know from Timbuktu what they were supposed to do. General Brad came a few days later. On 3rd of June, General Brad held the first meeting in which I was also present, in which he told that army has been mandated to clear out the militants from the Golden Temple. So it was purely military action. Civil administration was not given the details, kept out of the entire operation. The army surrounded the Golden Temple. The troops came from all over India. You see, this was another lesson, and there is a lot of lesson for the army how to fight in the built-up areas. Because General V.K. Singh, I may mention you, the present Union Minister, even he has said that the Blue Star operation was ill-planned and badly executed. The consequences were enormous. Either in good faith or lack of planning, the army did not, go from the flanks or from the back. They went from the main pilgrimage route or tourist route, as you may call. These people had fortified inside completely. There were machine guns. They allowed the troops to go in. Particularly 2 units, SFF and 1st Para, and 10 guards, these 3 regiments. In all, about 9-10 regiment troops were involved. So they allowed them to go in. The strategy army had adopted was that we will throw in stun grenades, in Akal Takht, which is the main fortification of Bhindranwale, and then move in, to capture them or overpower them. The stun grenades did not work because they had fortified their positions Please tell me when, so that whenever you want me to.
About time that you.
Okay. You know, and it is at this stage that LMGs opened from all sides by the militants. It's now on record that over 300 people from the forces attained shahadat, became martyrs. The total deaths of the civilians inside Golden Temple was around 800 in NA. And it is, this then was followed by assassination of Mrs. Gandhi. Now here is a lesson also in Mrs. Gandhi's assassination. It is a public knowledge that she had been alerted and sounded that there is a threat to you from your Sikh security people. It's also on record that she said, no, don't remove them. Now, there were hardly 4 or 5 people in her security from Punjab. The greatest failure is, as our system works, you know, someone thought that I have sounded Mrs. Gandhi, my job is over now, you know. So she doesn't concede to my feedback, it's up to her. No tab was kept on these people. After all, how difficult it was to keep a watch on these 4 or 5 people, you know. And that led to this great tragedy of the killing of the Prime Minister of India. And thereafter, you know what happened in Delhi and other parts of India. Now, till now, barring few odd people sitting in London or America or Pakistan sounding and giving calls for Khalistan, there was no demand of Khalistan. Till 85. The agitation started in 82. The Narankari killing was in 78. They say stitch in time saves 9, you know, because of the ineffective enforcement of law and order. This situation drifted to this time. One instance I failed to mention. DIG Atwal, you might have heard his name. When Pindrawala was arrested, he was SSP of Amritsar. He became DIG, shifted to Jalandhar. He came to the Golden Temple to pay his obeisance. The boys of Pindrawala said this is the opportunity to take revenge because he had arrested Pindrawala. He was shot dead outside Golden Temple, you know, when he was carrying prasad in his hands for his family. His dead body lay for 2 hours outside there. The SSP informed the CM, Darbara Singh. Seeking instruction, Darbara Singh informed the Prime Minister's office, you see. And Prime Minister was on tour to Rajasthan. By the time instructions came that you don't have to enter chase the killers into the temple, 2 hours had passed. Now, here is a lesson for us. In law enforcement, you know, you cannot go by the political will. Where was the need for SSP to ring up the Chief Minister? His DIG, his boss had been killed and his body was lying outside. He should have immediately gone and tried to catch these people. But had he done, probably he feared that he will be, you know, pulled up. Why you did this? So politics is, you know, which has distorted the administrative structure and decision making in our country. I'll wind up and leave it to question answer. In April 86, for the first time, a Pindrawala's organization formed a group called Panthak Committee. They met in Amritsar on 29th April, declared Khalistan, declared the formation of Khalistan Commando Force, and said we will fly the flag on at Red Fort, and we are in war with the Indian state. It doesn't need to be said that in the meantime, Pakistan, you know, had infiltrated these groups. There was a nexus between the smugglers for bringing in of weapons and so on and so forth. Then for almost 90, from 86, 87, 88, 89, all these years, we have had great militancy. Then the peace came. Some forces are again trying to disturb Punjab. Now, one thing I would like to share with you, the impact of these on economy, which is the main thing. In 1981, Punjab ranked number 1 in per capita income. Its GDP growth was among the first 2 or 3 states. Center for Monitoring Indian Economy ranked it as number 1 state in infrastructure development. By 2020, it had dropped to the position of 16th at the national level. Today, between 2000 and 2010, its GDP grew among the second lowest in the country, just above Manipur. Manipur was the lowest, you see. Today, its per capita income is only 1,70,620 rupees against the national average of 1,73,000, which means it's just marginally above the national level, but there are good, 17, 18 states above Punjab. So the violence, disturbance, all this takes a heavy toll on the economy of the state, and Punjab has suffered this. Threat, I would like to, again, in 2 minutes, sum up on threat. The threat perception is grave. Now, as I say this, it is not the threat from Khalistanis. They are, TV voices, media voices. You come to Punjab, there is no talk of Khalistan. Nobody talks of Khalistan. It's absolutely peaceful state. The crime rate is probably one of the lowest in the country, But the threat comes because of the overexploitation of the water, underground water. That underground water table is going down by 1 cubic kilometer every year. And the Central Water Board has given a warning that in the next 16 years, the water table in Punjab will go down by 1,000 feet. And there will not be enough water even to drink, what to talk of cropping. The consequences of this for Punjab and for the nation are grave. Because paddy, for example, which is the main culprit, it pushes in every year, 2 crops, Kharif, Rabi, 6 months, about 40,000 crores into the Punjab's economy. This is procurement price, transportation costs, storage costs, labor involved, the commission agents, all this structure, 40,000 crores. Now, if paddy today stops, and wheat also, it's uncertain if it goes beyond NA, Punjab farmer earns something like from both these crops about 50,000 crores a year. Now, if this income goes, apart from the fact that Punjab contributes almost 10% of the rice in the country, total production, and almost 30% of the wheat. We are fortunately now, every state has come up and there is a level of self-sufficiency, in all the states. But this, which helps you to build a buffer for the nation, this will go. So it is not just the state will suffer, the farmers will suffer. There is a warning signal for the country, And more important and equally important is the discontentment which it will breed among the farming community. And their persistence, their survival instinct. It's only, I think, 2 years back we have seen it, how they forced the government to withdraw the laws, So what will happen? That will be another opportunity for our enemies from across to exploit. Drones are now very lethal. They are not only bringing in drugs, they also drop weapons. The advantage we had gained by putting the barbed wire is over. So these are threats which one can foresee. The concept paper, in fact, mentioned that there is an incubation period. And that incubation period, to me, in terms of economic frustration, has already begun. So it's a yellow light as on today. We have to be careful about. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. In fact, you have done my job easier. I mean, because we wanted to do it with the two speakers. I think he has proven me correct that both the aspects are covered. I'll mention some of the flashpoints that we feel is still creating problems. I mean, capable of creating problems. That is one, of course, is in Maharashtra, Bhima Koregaon. You have to somehow realize that it has a big potential, not only to impact the election, but it can also create problems in the state itself. Then we have Manipur. Then we have Nagaland, where situation has been brought down, but there has been inordinately delayed response from the state government. None of the fellows are doing anything, but it can be easily. Then we have a number of organizations who are raising provocative slogans for their political gain. And so that's something not now, but may, after the election, become this. So we do not really feel very comfortable in the scenario that we see internal situation, because this will also impact on our economy. At the other, like he mentioned about Punjab, it's already being felt. It will also be felt in some of the other geographies in the country. So that is something which wanted to lesson to be learned here. But now we'll open it to question answers.
So I'm Nitin Gadkari. My question is a little longer one. Having understood the history of Punjab that you've just described, very lucid, the trend that has come about in Punjab in the political sphere of election of the AAP government signifies a change in the thought process of the common man, going away from the classic Sikh thought process to an ordinary individual as AAP represents. So my question is, the slide of Punjab economically, as you also stated, has a definite relationship to its incline or towards its trend in politics. Is that a truism, or is it just a blink in the future of Punjab? And do you think that the current government will make any difference economically in Punjab, especially when you not touched the youth of Punjab, the drug menace that exists? How does this connect to the future growth economically of Punjab?
There are two aspects that I will mention. Thereafter, I'll hand it over to you. Look, we will not comment on political part of it. So, but yes, drug is a menace there. And it is so in many of the other geographies in India. It's not only Punjab which is suffering from that. So if we left that out, then the issues that are there, then we'll decide. Because we do not want to talk about something which is uncertain in our mind. Politics is not something which, at least I specialize in, so I leave that out.
You know, again, I entirely agree with him. As a civil servant, would not like to comment on the political party's performance. Change always means that there was a level of discontentment with the previous regime. That's why the change comes, you know. But the problems and issues of Punjab, particularly drugs, you know, the GDP growth, the economic prosperity, these are matters of concern and have a great bearing on law and order and need to be addressed. Thank you.
So I'll ask a question. The topic was dissent in the hinterland and its impact on the economy. One of the biggest problems is the left-wing extremism or Naxalism or terrorism in the hinterland. Now, there are 3-4 kinds of effect it has on economy, and I would like your comments on that. One is extortion that takes place. Thousands of crores rupees are extracted in the Naxal-affected areas. Number 2 is the physical destruction of government assets, TV towers, economic towers, roads, etc. Third is the cost of development. If a cost of development of a road is X rupees per kilometer in Maharashtra, it is 3X in Naxal-affected areas. And fourth, of course, is the lost opportunities. Today, we have our economy which is dependent on coal as far as electricity is concerned, and we import coal from outside while we are sitting on the biggest coal mines in the Chhattisgarh area. We cannot extract it from there. So I think the most important impact that this dissent has in the hinterland is extortion. Second is lost opportunities of growth. Third is, of course, expenditure on security forces, etc. So if you today are able to curb the menace of Naxalism, your economic progress from 6% per year will rise to 12% without any economists coming in between, sir. And similarly, you don't require economists to let your economy grow. And number 2 is, I call it what is called as the agitational terrorism, sir. Agitational terrorism, at the drop of the hat, blocking roads and stopping the progress. Economic Times said that when the so-called farmers' agitation blocked the roads in Delhi or in the national capital region, the loss to the NCR was about 4,000 to 5,000 crores per year. So, your comments on this?
Yeah, I'll give you the comments. First, the last two questions there. You see, all parties included, they have been using this Rasta Roko as a mode of agitation. You suddenly cannot say that it is out of the syllabus for the political party. So this is something which has to be understood, that for years we have allowed to go, irrespective of which government has been ruling. So that is one. In the hinterland of Naxalbari, or for that matter in Chhattisgarh, what happens there is that there is no difference between the political person and normal person. Political person is somebody who's at the moment not stressed. Tomorrow, if the government changes this thing, he changes his. This is unfortunately the reality. But yet, you will have to admit that it has, over a period, reduced considerably, though it has definitely not gone. But then, I may also remind you, extortion is not unheard of even in the bigger cities in the country. So we have to tackle it on a different scale and different. The moment you link it to the political issue, then it becomes a hathiyar of the political issue. But if I say that we do not tolerate extortion, whether it is in city or whether it is in this thing, then you have a different scale that you have written. Unfortunately, we have not developed it. We live in a democracy. We have limits given by the political bosses to what you can do and what you cannot do. So that is where. But I suppose when the situation becomes very unbearable, they do sort of accept those bitter medicines. But at the moment, peaceful sort of agitation is accepted.
Yeah. My question has to do with post-election. That why not, I mean, the water table we were discussing, everybody recognizes that until you solve the rice problem of Punjab, not much help is going to come anywhere. Now, here's a policy that I think, I haven't yet heard an argument, and it's a federal policy or a central policy, not just for Punjab to do. And I think, so I want to get your views as to why is it not a no-brainer to do this post-election? So I'm not suggesting that this be done now. And this same problem, very close to it, was in Mexico with the growing of corn. Corn was 3 times more expensive, and corn is to a Mexican much more than rice is to a Punjabi. Okay? But it's a lifeblood. What they've done for centuries, etc., grown corn. So the NAFTA agreement between the US, Canada, and Mexico had, the agreement was Mexico will no longer grow corn. How do you administer this policy which goes against all culture, everything else? So they said that for the next 5 years, the Mexican farmer can grow anything except corn. And in addition, will get the full value of whatever corn output had been done. There were the usual objections, oh my God, you'll give them money, they'll go drink it, or the usual things. 80% of the money that was given to Mexican farmers was invested. I'm calculating as to how much money it'll take. But it seems that until you solve this problem, and it's at the national level, it's not, Punjab government can't do this, it's the national level, why not? And every time, and this one other thing was with you didn't mention on the MSP, and a few Aithias holding the entire nation to ransom. Buy them off. The amount of money they make is incredible. So all I'm saying is that we need to think of not the traditional solutions, but an economic solution that goes to the heart of the topic.
I just want to add to what Sujit said. About a year ago, PIC had brought out a policy paper written by Professor Devdhar of Indians of Management, Ahmedabad, on this issue. What he has suggested that Government of India, along with 3 non-Western states, have a structural adjustment program financed precisely to make the transition. So it was a central project because same problem potentially exists in west of UP, Western UP, Haryana, and Punjab. So it was proposed to, he has given this about a year ago, that we must launch a structural adjustment program, just like bank does or fund does. And Government of India should convene a meeting of 3 chief ministers and work out a structural program will be financed by the central government, the union government, for making the transition. Because it's a national interest. It's not just Punjab problem, it's a national problem. Recognizing that is become a national project and create it together. So I entirely endorse what he has been saying. And I think if this can go as a recommendation of this conference to once again to different entities, it is very useful because to my mind, Surjit is absolutely right, that's the only solution which is in the interest of everybody.
I can say, sir, we will definitely, what we'll have to do is that we'll have to get some people who should be audience and hear that, and we alone would not be able to get that thing through. And at that time, we would need your help, sir.
Ravi, first, Ramesh is outstanding. Thank you very much. I commanded Western Command, I've been in Punjab, but was still delighted to hear you. The whole thing, how it developed. My question relates to water. You said water is going to be a problem, and I agree. The Indus Waters Treaty only relates to rivers. Punjab is flush with rainwater. Why don't we put the rainwater in the SYL canal? Whose loss it is if instead of going to the SYL canal, all of that is going to Pakistan? The geography of Punjab does not allow even a drop of water to flow from Pakistan to India. All water is going there. It is not part of the treaty. Let's harness it.
Actually, the problem is more a technical problem here, because below Ranjit Sagar Dam, Pathankot, the road going from Pathankot to Jammu, we have put up a dam there, and excess water which was going to Pakistan, it has been captured there. Downstream, there are various nadis and nalas which bring rainwater, but there is no suitable site where it can be dammed. You see, till you reach Harike, which has a barrage, and then Firozpur, which also has a barrage. So my understanding is it's both a problem of technology, how to dam that water, excess water going during, and excess water goes only during the rainy seasons, how to harvest it and then to carry it, and also a problem of funds, As earlier said by Dr. Kelkar very well, that if suitable allocations are made, even shift from paddy to other crops, it can take place. You see, there's no problem on that. The problem is allocation of adequate funds. That's the issue.
No, but to make my point.
Gee.
I'm sorry. Subsidy. At the moment, we have to relate it to the point that you made, Ramesh, that it is brewing discontent. The cost of brewing discontent in a borderline state with an alien power on the other side, who also don't have water, it will create a humongous problem if we don't address it.
I entirely agree with
you. So the points they have made, and it is possible to harness it. I'm not talking of harnessing in its entirety. Even if it is harnessed in pockets and put in the SYL canal. The SYL canal, I have flown over it for 20 years. The canal is dug. There's no water in it. Let's put this water in it on the simple argument between two states. Let's not fight with each other, because at the end of it, we are not getting it, our neighbor is getting it.
I agree with you.
So, sir, my question was, I've been observing that the political parties of India use religion as a marketing tool. So they market themselves as to a particular religion section, and they divide the country and disturb the social harmony of our country. That is my personal opinion. So my view is there any future, or what we as a youth can do to change the politics, where politics is done for a greater good, and as you said, politics is all about getting more votes. Instead of targeting and dividing the country based on religion, why can't we do something for the greater good to attract the votes which the political parties are getting?
So far as I'm concerned, it has to take a huge change in the society at the moment. So I think you are a young person, you should work for that, and the number will grow and it will be strength. But at the moment, most of the political leaders, except the ones who are very towering one and has sort of influence, they all concentrate on their own area. And more importantly, on the defect of his opponent. This unfortunately is the case. It was not probably in the post-independence period, immediately, but this is now. But you should do it. Thank you.
Sure, sir.
Well, thank you very much. In fact, throughout the day, both of us enjoyed the discussions that were going on, and some of them were very enlightening and gave us new ideas. So thank you very much.
So